Welcome to Green Addicts Live. This is a show where we talk about efficiency in your business, in your life in general. Today I am joined by somebody who is very special to me. She is the glue that holds the Crenshaw household together. She's also the wife to myself, and she's also the mother of our 4 beautiful daughters. So I have my wife Amber Crenshaw with me today.
Hi,
Hey, honey, how are you?
I'm good. A little nervous.
So we were driving in this morning, and it was we leave the house, and it's a good little haul from North Frisco over here to this side of Dallas. And the whole time we're riding, she's talking about how nervous she is to be on this show today. And I said, honey, it's going to be just fine. So we kind of talked a little bit in the truck and enjoyed the beautiful weather that we got. It's 60 degrees outside, and of course I'm in short sleeve shirts, and she's dressed with her nice little, what do you call that thing?
I don't know. But it was beautiful weather, but I don't know if the nerves are more for the show or for me in the passenger seat with you driving. That makes me a little nervous.
Now we all know that it's my driving that gets us here on time.
True.
And
True.
it's
I just keep my head down. Keep my head down, don't look.
She does play on her phone a lot when she rides with me, that's for
have
sure.
to.
There's a lot of, oh my gosh.
I have to.
And bracing in the car. But have you ever ridden with Russell?
No, and from what I hear, I do not want to.
Yeah, he thinks he's like an IndyCar driver in Dallas and doesn't pay
Kudos
attention.
to
And,
Cindy. Couldn't do it.
yeah.
Nope.
So I get asked all the time, what do you guys do? As far as our marriage and our relationships and how we manage things. So I wanted to bring my wife on the show, and I wanted y'all to be able to hear directly from her as to exactly what we do. And I'll tell you that she's been asking me for the last month, what are we going to talk about on this show? What are we going to talk about on this show? And I never did tell her because I wanted this to be genuine and straight from her heart, no rehearsal. So what you may hear today, she's I don't know what she's going to say, to be honest with you. So honey, on a day-to-day basis, how would you describe the Crenshaw household?
Oh, well, first of all, we always try to have fun. But on a day-to-day basis, I feel like it's never really the same. Some days are the same, but as the girls have gotten older, we don't really have, a day-to-day schedule. When they were younger, absolutely. We have 4 daughters, and raising 4 daughters, I feel like you have to have a schedule. If not, it's just chaos. So, but now, we're still efficient. The night before, we figure out if, we have our youngest at home still in high school. I figure out if there's something going on the next day, and if I'm not able to be there, are you going to be able to be there? So we're always efficient. Stay on top of that.
Oh, I would agree with you.
But I won't bore y'all with all the minor details.
So you did say one thing there, a schedule. If you don't have a schedule, it's complete chaos.
Absolutely, yes.
So around the office, we talk about having a schedule and having a plan all the time. And it's just that I say it and I'll continue to say it. We talked about it yesterday, dialing in like Jason Bourne. That's the schedule. You gotta dial in and know what you're doing for the next day in order to be successful. So
and like now I know you have your planner and you're all about filling your planner out. I don't have that. I just use my calendar. And when the girls were little, like I had the big paper calendar.
You did.
And it was filled in. There was writing all over it. But without that, I would forget.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone can keep everything up here. So I have to visually see it, look at it, and to prepare for the next day.
And I will tell you, she is absolutely amazing when it comes to keeping the girls and our house on schedule.
I try.
People ask me all the time, what does your wife do for a living? I said, well, she's my house manager. Oh, she's a stay-at-home mom? I said, no, she's my house manager. You have no idea what she does to keep things functioning in our household, which allows me to keep a clear mind to function, in business. So one other thing that my wife is excellent at is efficiency in the kitchen, and she can cook. Oh, if you haven't met me in person, I'm telling you right now, I put on a few pounds, and it's so hard to keep pounds off in my house because my wife can cook. I'm gonna tell you that right now. You walk in the house, it's like, man, it smells so good in here. You gain 5 pounds just by walking in my house and smelling it. So, but when you're cooking and preparing in the kitchen, I've been to people's houses before, and that they get through cooking, and I mean, it looks like somebody just come through there and just threw up all over the kitchen.
Yeah.
What do
I
you do?
always try to prepare meals. I've done that since the girls were little. I make out a list, especially when I go to the grocery store. I always have a list, or else I will overbuy. And I know on Monday, what we're going to have for the week. And then when I am in the kitchen, it's the little things. Like, I'll get the ingredients out that I need. That way they're there. I'm not fumbling with things. And then I always clean as I go. That way, at the end, there's not a huge mess. Now, you, on the other hand, I love it when Saturday mornings you get up and fix breakfast. It's great, but yeah, looks like something threw up in our kitchen.
You're not supposed to tell
So
everybody.
he does not clean as he goes. I do. Much easier at the end. And my girls love it because if they have dish duty, what dishes are already done?
So I'm efficient at a lot of things, but cooking in the kitchen, I am not. I'm going to
Nope.
tell you that right now. I make a mess.
Tastes yummy, but no, not efficient.
But she is
But that's
very
okay.
she's very efficient with that as well, and it tastes amazing. So if you ever have the opportunity to come to the house and have dinner with us, it's pretty good.
Well,
So
thank you.
She does a pretty good job with that. So we are both in our early 40s. And we've got 4 daughters, like we've explained. We've got one 25 years old. We've got a 21-year-old, a 20-year-old, and a 15-year-old. Now, growing up, when we first got married and got together, we were very, very young. And matter of fact, 18 years old
We were babies.
during that time. So during that time, I didn't make a whole lot of money. I worked. I've always been one to work, but we really didn't have a whole lot of money. We had to manage on, pretty much what I consider poverty levels. But I'm gonna tell you right now, she did an amazing job with the amount of money that we had growing up, with raising the kids, and I don't know how she done it, but I want to ask her, and I want y'all to hear it from her. She raised our girls and brought them up, and they never done without. But we were doing that on about $1,500 a month income with 4 kids, and so. Honey, just share with them. What were some of the things that you done that made things efficient for us to be able to afford to raise 4 girls and pay house bills and a house note on $1,500 a month?
You get creative. But one thing I want to say is, yes, it might have been low income, but I hope our girls can look back and not see it that way. I hope they didn't realize that. But gosh, 4 daughters, you have 4 birthday parties a year. That's one thing that I made a lot of stuff. Let me tell you, balloons and streamers are cheap, and you can do a lot with them. I never was one to go out to the party stores and spend $100, $200 on party supplies. I still to this day have a hard time doing it. So that's one thing that you can definitely cut back on. And today, there are a lot of extravagant birthday parties.
Yes, there are.
But I feel like the girls had some pretty good parties over the year. And I would always I definitely would keep it Like, I was proud of myself if I could do like a slumber party, decorations, everything, $50. Yes, like, I tried. And then also, for girls, back to school clothes. That was a big stress. Like,
What did you spend? Like 200, we had like $200 to spend on all the girls to
and
get school
yes,
clothes.
and we did it.
Yes, we did.
We
You
did
did it. I
it.
didn't do it. You did it.
And we had a friend who worked at a certain department, or worked in the, I guess
He worked at the warehouse.
the warehouse.
For
Yeah,
Bell's.
he worked
Yeah.
at the warehouse, but he got a discount at the department store, and I had coupons. Went in, got all of the girls' school clothes, $200. That was a pretty good victory, I think.
That's
But you can do it, and you know, it's all about presentation as well. It's not about the brand names. We know brand names. Kids don't know brand names.
correct.
So as long as they're clean and put together nicely, I think it was a victory.
And she definitely did a good job at that. I can take you back on some of our old photos, and you can see my kids and the way they're dressed, and even as babies with the bows and
I
the
was
matching
that mom.
outfits. And
I was that mom. We would go somewhere, and I wanted us all to match. And you said we were on a budget, but if you remember, every Friday night when the girls were little, we would go out to eat. So we still managed to have that Friday night where we could all go out. Now, when they got older, wanted adult meals, I'm like, we had to cut back a little bit.
well, but when we went out to eat, we always knew the restaurants where the kids ate free.
Oh, yeah, you have to look at that.
Yeah, so we would go and we
That
would eat at
helps.
the kids eat free restaurants, and of course the girls would always order water, always, because we
Always.
were
We
just,
still do that.
I know, we were not into spending $3 for water for six of us. I mean, that was two more meals the way we looked at it.
Oh, yeah.
And now, I mean, we're able to afford a drink, at a restaurant, but we're still that way
still
with,
water.
I'm not spending that money to have a $3 sweet tea or Coke at a restaurant. Now, I will splurge occasionally. I think yesterday Russ and I went to lunch and I had me a sweet tea. But
It's a lot easier when it's just you. It's the whole family.
I'll never forget, we were on vacation, and my wife, and we were all sitting at the table, and the girls go, this was later on in career, and the girls go, can we have one of these drinks, one of these fancy light up drinks that was in this cup? And I said, sure, whatever y'all want. And we talked about this later, the feeling that gave us to be able to just freely be able to do that. When we growing up, and raising the kids, we were never able to do that. So, to be able to
little
do that and
things,
have that
yeah.
feeling, yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, they got to get whatever they wanted to drink in a light up cup.
Yes. Which,
And it was great. We were like beaming, proud. Look at our kids.
but I mean, so many people.
It is the little things.
Yeah, so many people waste so much money, and they're not efficient with that thing, and then they're wondering why they're struggling paycheck to paycheck
Oh, yeah.
all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Is because they're not smart in the way that they run the efficiency of their home and their life. And I mean, I remember going to eat with people before and sitting down at the table, and they just order like 4 or 5 appetizers and then steaks, and then 3 weeks later they're struggling because they don't have enough money coming in. And I'm sitting there thinking about the $300 they just spent on that meal.
Yeah, that bothers me. What also bothers me is leaving the food on the table. Like,
Yes.
sometimes I've been tempted, like, can I get a to-go box for their stuff? That would be odd, but
So the ladies in the office, Amelia in the office yesterday, all she talked about was wanting to know what a good chili recipe was. She says it's getting cold, and Russ and her put beans in their chili, and I don't like beans in my chili. I just don't like them. And the reason I know that she puts beans in the chili is because it makes more. And so when we were raising the girls, that was
beans
one of
are
her frugal
cheaper
ways.
than ground beef.
Yes. So that was one of her frugal ways to provide more food for all of us at the table. But
And I don't think the girls would know what to do if they bit into a bite of chili and there weren't beans in it. That's how they're used to it now. But Amelia, okay, I will give you my family recipe. It was a recipe my mom used. I think maybe my sister used it too. Not sure about my grandparents. It's real complicated. Go to Walmart, go down the aisle with the mixes, and there's a 2 alarm chili mix. I love it. That's what I'm used to eating. Super easy, so efficient. Come in little packets, cut them open, put it in, let it simmer for 30 minutes. You're done.
There you have it.
That's the secret
there's the
recipe.
secret recipe from the Crenshaw household, the 2 alarm chili mix. 2 alarm, that is.
Yeah, 2 alarm.
So another thing that I get asked, is what do you and Amber spend time, with your relationship, and how do y'all keep such a, if y'all can't tell, me and my wife have a really good relationship. We like to smile and laugh and cut up, and I'll tell you, I've made some mistakes over the years. This relationship has not been all sunshine and rainbows for the last 20 plus years, and but I will tell you that I believe now that my wife and I have the best relationship we have ever had.
Oh yeah.
And, so people ask me, what do you do? And I'll just kind of let her tell you, what we do for our relationship that kind of keeps, keeps things burning and keeps it fun and interesting. So, honey, what's some of the things we do?
Well, I know date night is important.
Yes.
And we weren't always doing date night. When we started doing date night, I mean, I can remember the girls, like, what? Y'all just had a date. So, but now they know. They don't question it. So that's huge. And we just need to come together weekly just to reconnect. Because and especially when you have little ones, our girls are older now, but when they're little, and it's just sometimes no matter how efficient you try to be, there's some chaos.
Absolutely.
And in that chaos, if you're not connected, it's just not fun. And we want to keep it fun. So date night is important. And I also think whenever you are having, some days where you struggle, I need to be the one to pick you up and be the strong one. And then, there are days where I struggle, of course. And it's nice for you to come in and put a smile on my face. So I think teamwork is huge. We have to be a team. Like if there's a problem and we're not working together, then that's a struggle. But feeling like if you have, your teammate and you're trying to conquer it together, that makes a world of difference. Like you're not alone going in it.
Correct.
So, I think that. And of course, our faith. That's huge.
Absolutely.
We didn't start out, we didn't start out the right way, but we got it now.
Yes, we did. So that's I said I've made a lot of mistakes over the years, and I relate that back to the faith side of things and not building the foundation on that and following what God's plan was for me and my family and just having that in the front of my life now and letting that lead me has really made a difference in myself and the way that I handle things and the way that I treat my wife and the way that I treat my family. And I'll tell you, that's the way I start my day every day. That's my time that I spend every day is that power hour. It's you got to get the Lord's word, and be able to, start your day off on a positive note. Leave the phone alone. Don't touch it. Don't start reacting to the world when you first wake up, because that's nothing but negativity. So why not start your day off positive, and then it's going to make things so much better.
Oh, yeah.
For your day. Do I have bad days? Absolutely, just like anybody else.
Oh, yeah, everybody does.
But she puts little notes and things. There'll be little notes stacked all over the house or in my bags when I go out of town. There's a little note that's on my mirror talks about my positivity being encouraging and uplifting to her. And, and I'm not, I'm usually always a positive person.
You are.
And, but there are days that I'm just like,
Yeah.
I mean, because you get beat down in this world. I mean, if you allow it to just, and there's some people who can't bounce back from that. And you've just got to be able to, continue to push forward. There's an old saying that goes, success is not achieved by, where you go. It's how many times you get back up, that determines your success. It's not, how many times you get knocked down. So,
Oh yeah, it's your attitude.
Yes.
Yeah. I had someone tell me once, people wouldn't think my life was so perfect if I wasn't smiling all the time. And I was like, well, I kind of take that as a compliment.
smiling's contagious.
Yeah. I mean, you have to stay positive through it all.
Yes, you do.
And, like we said, raising 4 girls, and there were definitely mornings where, I wake up and I can already hear them fussing, and I just have to say my prayer, Lord, let me get through this morning with a positive attitude, because one thing I do think is the mother has a way of setting the mood. And if I were to wake up and go in the kitchen or wherever they were at with a negative attitude, that has a possibility of ruining their day. And especially, I know when they were younger, and there were moments and days where I would totally do that, but sending them off to school as soon as they got out of the car, if I was negative that morning, I was just kicking myself. I was like, you know what? I probably just ruined their day. So, when they were little, I always tried to get up, and I had a little song I would sing.
You're going to sing that song for us?
No, I'm not going to sing the song, but you know what it is. Just to try to, brighten their day.
Yeah.
Just to make them happy. And I would sing it to you too. I'd bring you a cup of coffee, what we talked about earlier. I don't really do that anymore unless it's a weekend and you're sleeping in, because I'm not a morning person, and you get up super early, so you don't get your song anymore. I'm sorry.
I don't know why I can't get up at 4 o'clock in the
No,
morning and sing to
I
me.
tried it a couple of weeks and went and worked out with you, but man, I'm not a 4 a.m. person.
Yeah, and so I bragged on her at the office about getting up at 4 a.m. But then Peyton shifted her driver's ed. Now my baby is now about to be driving over here in this traffic.
It's scary, y'all. I will put out a note whenever she's driving. Everyone should stay off the roads.
So now we've shifted some workout times for her to make it a little more convenient
Efficient.
or efficient for her. She was not really loving the 4 a.m., but she's a trooper, and she got up at 4 a.m. for 2 weeks straight and went to the gym with me. And I mean, she's been going to the gym all the time now. She when she first started, the first 3 days, she was like, how much time do I got to put in before I start feeling this burst of energy that you keep talking about? And as she progressed through it, now she sees it.
Now I get
Yeah.
it, but at 4 a.m. doing it, no, I didn't get it.
If she's going back home,
Never
says she's
got
going
it.
back home taking a nap.
I
She
would
said,
have to take
I'm
a
not
nap.
efficient
I
at
can't
all.
function. No, that ruined my efficient days. It really did. But, some people are morning persons, some people are night
They are.
person. I happen to be a night person.
She is a night person. She is. I've gotten a habit now sometimes where I lay in bed and that's just my relaxed time, as I like to look at guns.
Oh, you do.
And so it just kind of relaxes my brain, to know that I'm looking at these guns to add to my wonderful collection of guns. And it's all to protect the home with these crazies that are out there,
Okay.
So I got to have that, protection in the house. So I got one other thing I kind of wanted to cover that that we get asked as well, or I get asked is, how, from your seat, is it being married to a business owner and an entrepreneur with the long hours that are required for me to put in, and the stress that comes along with that? So what does that look like for somebody in your chair who manages the house but sees all of that other stuff going on?
Well, I've tried to, over the years, make it as an easy a transition coming home as possible for you, because I know the stresses you go through daily. So that for one. As far as just you having that mindset. We are completely different. Completely different.
Yes, we are.
You love change. Change scares me. So I think, we balance each other out as far as that goes. Just trying to balance. Ask me the question again.
So, being a wife of a business owner and an entrepreneur, what does that look like for you, and how do you manage that as far as our daily life goes? And
Okay. Okay. I have to just kind of roll with, because sometimes things come up. I like to have a set dinner time, but that's not realistic. So we eat dinner when Dad's home. Is that like what I
Yeah.
prefer that? No.
No.
But I know if you're going to be late, there's a reason.
correct.
So we just kind of go with it. And if we have something planned and something comes up, I know you've got to take care of business. Got to take care of business in order to take care of us. So I've tried to be laid back with that over the years. Now, when the girls were little, there were moments where I'm like, oh, no. I need your help now. So that happens, but I try to encourage you. And like I said, we try to keep things fun. So I try to do it in a fun manner. And I know, when you were younger, I always
Wait a
made the
minute,
comment.
you said when I was younger. I'm still young.
Well, you're still young. But when you were younger, I would always, did you sell anything today? I'm like, don't come home till you sell anything.
And she actually did that, y'all. I tell that story at the office. I've told it to people before. When I started off in the business, and I'm gonna let her get back on that subject in just a second. But I got laid off. She was put on bed rest with one of our daughters, and I got laid off 2 weeks later from my job. I was working for the bread company, sacking bread and loading a truck. And I went and picked up a newspaper because back in those days there was no Indeed or what all these other monster to look for a job. You
Yeah.
actually had to get a newspaper and go to the classifieds. And when I opened up the newspaper, I saw a sales job that was in there, and it was for selling vacuum cleaners door to door. And so I went and applied, got the job, and that's when I found out I was pretty good at sales. And my wife would actually used to say, open the door, did you sell anything today? And if I said no, she'd say, don't come home till you do. And I think
It wasn't me trying to
I
be
know.
mean. That sounds terrible.
that
I knew
pushed me,
that's
that
what
drove-
pushed you
that-
and what motivated
Yes.
you, and that's what you needed.
Absolutely.
And we would laugh about it, but
I think more people need to have that type of approach when it comes to things. But today it seems like we almost want to just give up too easy.
Yeah.
It's like, they don't want to do that. Oh, that's fine. No big deal. No. You have to have a drive and a purpose and push forward to it. So
yeah, it's all about the personality. Because if you were to tell me that, I would probably just cry.
But on a day-to-day basis, it changes in the house. Would you say when you're talking about me being a business owner and our life at home is not, like you said, it's not always on a schedule, but it's being flexible to adjust, and that's because I try to manage the office. And she made a comment one day. I actually come home and I said it was 6:30 or so, and I said, you know what? I'm cutting my phone off. I'm just going to start cutting my phone off at 6:30, and I'm going to put it in the office. And my wife said these exact words. She said, "You can't do that. You own a business." And I thought about that for a minute, and it's absolutely true. I cannot just completely shut myself off
No.
from the business, because there's things that need my attention.
And would I love that? Yes. Because that phone drives me crazy. But, I know you can't.
She definitely is the rock, the person that keeps me steady in the house. She brings a new perspective to some of my decisions. I'll come home and get to talking about things, and she'll give me her input, and sometimes I cut her off. See, when I tell you I don't always do things right, sometimes I cut her off and she'll just look at me. She's like, I wasn't even finished. Can you let me finish? I'm like, excuse me, I'm sorry. So, but I mean, as far as everything else goes, I mean, is it something that if you were giving advice to another wife who their husband just started a business, what's the advice you would give to them? They're brand new. They just started a business, and let's just say that they're not used to that type of chaos in their life. What's something you would give them as far as advice
It's
goes?
difficult, but it will get easier. Be supportive. There's this saying, happy wife, happy life, but I also believe happy husband, happy life. So it's a give and take.
We said it yesterday in the meeting. Happy spouse, happy house.
Yes, that's a good one. That's perfect.
Amelia brought it up yesterday in the meeting.
Yeah, that's perfect. So you just have to find that balance with your spouse. It's tough, but
Yeah.
you can do it.
Yeah, and I mean, there's days too that, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like every day she's, super, happy that I have to put in the long hours. It's not like that at all. There's days it's like, really, can you get home earlier? And some days I can make that happen. And then some days it's like, no, honey, I can't. I mean, I have to take care of this. And she's like, oh, all right, fine. But then the next day she's perfectly back in order and supportive and moving forward. So I'm going to wrap things up. We had talked about doing an attic makeover, and we haven't pushed a whole lot of that. So I'm going to bring that back up again. We are taking. We want you to nominate someone who is looking to have. That maybe just needs the help to have their attic redone, insulation, HVAC work. We're going to do a complete attic overhaul for someone in need. And what we're doing is we're taking those nominations now. You can send those to info@greenattics.com. And what we're going to do is we're going to take those between now and the end of the year. And then at the end of the year, we're going to go out and we're going to actually do a CPR for those customers in an interview, and then we're going to determine which ones qualify to make the top 3, and then we're going to put up a online voting for those top 3 people, and then the winner of that will actually not only get our install crews out there, but my entire office team. We were having a meeting, and when we started talking about this, they just to kind of show you the type of people we have around our office. They volunteered. They all said, well, why don't we all just go do the work? And I said, you know what? That is a great idea. Yeah, I
mean, if someone's out there like a young struggling family who their electric bill is just through the roof, and maybe they're having to choose between paying the electric bill, groceries for their family, let us help them.
Yes. We are getting in that time, for the holidays and things along those lines. And if there's people that are out there that are struggling, especially, as we get into Christmas and Thanksgiving and
y'all just be thinking about who comes to mind and submit that.
Yes.
Let us help.
Yes. I mean, we would love nothing more than to take a sack of groceries over to somebody who couldn't afford to go to the grocery store. So. We've been very, very blessed to be able to do that now. And we just want to get back. So anyway, info@greenattics.com. That's where you can send all your people that need a little help.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for, is to help. So thank you for tuning in to today's episode. We have next week, we've got our office staff that's going to be on here.
Green Attics girls.
The Green Attics girls.
And
they're
that
gonna
look a
have
little spicy too.
They might. Yeah, it's Halloween. It's the Halloween edition. So
Curious to see this.
yeah, they're supposed to get a little spooky, a little dressed up, get ready to get on the show. So no, there's not going to be any nurses or French maids or anything along that line that Russ asked us to, ask if we could have on the show.
No.
Yeah, so no, that's not going to happen. So
We're gonna keep it PG. PG.
Yeah, I told him, I said, well, just ask Cindy if she wants to go back on the show and get in her nurse's outfit.
Oh,
So.
wouldn't Russ love that?
Yes, he would. So we are the #1 energy efficiency company in DFW. Check us out online at greenaddicts.com. You can also give us a call in the office at 214-305-5449. And what I'm going to do for you today is I'm going to give away $5,000 worth of services. $5 grand. I'm in the giving mood today.
All right.
$5,000. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give away $1,000 to the first 5 people who call the office and set up an inspection for us to come out to your home, and $1,000 each off of our 3-part system. So if you would, give us a call, 214-305-5449. Don't forget, check us out on iTunes. Better yet, just go to Facebook. Go to Facebook, like us on Facebook. You're going to see a lot of information, energy saving tips, things along those lines that would bring you up to speed as to what we have going on. We actually run a pretty fun office, and we've got some pretty fun things going on. So thank you once again. God bless everybody.